Chapter 4. The Priceless Gift of Solitude. In a world that constantly screams for connection, demanding our attention at every turn, have we forgotten the profound, almost sacred power of being truly alone with our thoughts? Many of us feel mentally drained, struggle with emotional balance, and find it difficult to gain clarity amidst the incessant noise. We've been sold on the idea that constant communication is the key to productivity and happiness, leading us to believe that always being connected is always beneficial, even when our minds are screaming for a break. The old way of living meant unconsciously succumbing to the relentless stream of digital input. What began with portable music players, providing a constant musical backdrop to our day, distracting us from our inner world, escalated dramatically with the advent of smartphones. We grew accustomed to taking several seemingly harmless, quick glances at any number of apps or mobile-adapted websites as our day unfolds. This constant interaction, however, comes at a steep price. It silently deprives us of solitude. Solitude isn't about physical isolation. It is a subjective state where our minds are truly free from the input of others' ideas, allowing us to focus on our own thoughts and experiences. We can achieve solitude standing at a crowded street corner and be isolated, yet not have it. The new way demands we recognize solitude as a vital mental state, a necessary ingredient for a fulfilling life. When we engage in solitude, our minds move beyond simply reacting to information created by other people and focus instead on our own internal landscape. This brings profound benefits. It sparks insight and new ideas, fosters an emotional balance that leads to better self-understanding, and surprisingly, strengthens our ability to achieve closeness with others. This deliberate practice of being alone with our thoughts allows for deep processing and rejuvenation. The contrast is stark. Instead of chronic solitude deprivation, which degrades the quality of our lives, we must embrace deliberate cycles of solitude and connectivity. Consider a powerful historical example. U.S. President Abraham Lincoln, during the most tumultuous period of his nation's history, found clarity and perspective by regularly spending his summer nights in a decrepit cottage overlooking a military cemetery, away from the clamor of the White House. He would then return to the bustle of the White House in the mornings, rejuvenated and focused. This intentional cycling of solitude and connection allowed him to sharpen his focus and fortify his resolve. Contrast this with the alarming trend observed in young people born between 1995 and 2012, who, according to a 2015 study, text and engage in social media for upwards of 9 hours daily. As a direct result, this group suffers a higher rate of psychological disorders relative to the general population and is most at risk for depression and suicide. They struggle with understanding their emotions, reflecting on their identity and values, forming solid relationships, or simply letting their brains rest, all consequences of chronic solitude deprivation. To bring more solitude into your daily life and reclaim this priceless gift, consider these actionable steps. First, actively create periods of solitude in your day, scheduling them just as you would any other important appointment. This might mean deliberately leaving your cell phone at home when you go for a walk, taking a long, unhurried stroll without digital distractions, or even engaging in reflective practices like writing letters to your future self, which prompts introspection. Second, recognize that digital devices can inadvertently remove solitude from your life, leading to a degraded quality of thought and emotional well-being. By understanding this, you can be more vigilant about your device usage. Finally, cycle periods of connectivity with deliberate tech-free moments, ensuring that you regularly step away from constant digital input to allow your brain the quiet space it needs to process, innovate, and find inner peace. Remember the wisdom. Conversation enriches the understanding, but solitude is the school of genius. What dedicated tech-free time will you carve out this week to reconnect with your inner world and allow your mind to truly rest and reflect?
Thank you for watching. Please help us rate this video and give it a thumbs up to support the channel.